The arena is electric. The roar of the crowd is deafening, a relentless wave of energy crashing down from every direction. Camera flashes flicker like lightning, illuminating the massive ring at the center of it all. This isn't just any fight. This is the kind of showdown that legends are made of, the kind that fans will talk about for decades, dissecting every punch, every moment of hesitation, every ounce of heart left in the ring. On one side stands a man whose name alone sends chills through anyone who understands the brutality of boxing, Mike Tyson. A wrecking machine, a force of nature, a fighter who redefined what it meant to be feared. Across from him, Rafael Dos Anjos, a warrior forged in the fires of mixed martial arts, a former UFC champion who has faced and conquered some of the toughest opponents the sport has ever seen. Two different disciplines, two different worlds, but tonight, there is only one question: who walks out victorious? Tyson paces back and forth, his eyes locked onto Dos Anjos, expression unreadable, but there's a storm raging behind those eyes. A lifetime of experience, of brutal knockouts, of being both the hunter and the hunted is compressed into this moment. He's been in countless battles, but this one is different. This one isn't just about winning. It's about proving that his legacy isn't something time can erase. Across the ring, Dos Anjos is a picture of absolute focus. The world of MMA is unpredictable, ruthless, and he's lived and breathed it for years. He's stood toe-to-toe with monsters, absorbed bone-crushing leg kicks, and fought through adversity that would break most men. He knows the danger in front of him. He respects it, but he does not fear it. The bell hasn't rung yet, but the fight has already begun in their minds. Tyson clenches his gloves, the unmistakable tension in his shoulders revealing just how much force is about to be unleashed. Dos Anjos shifts his stance, light on his feet, ready to counter with the precision that made him a champion. There's something almost surreal about this two worlds colliding in a way that shouldn't even be possible. The crowd feels it too. A strange silence falls over the arena, as if the very air is holding its breath, waiting for the storm to explode. And then, the announcer steps forward, microphone in hand, voice booming through the speakers. The tail of the tape flashes across the screens, numbers and statistics detailing just how evenly matched yet impossibly different these two warriors are. The tension is unbearable. Every fan watching knows that once that first punch is thrown, there's no going back. Everything is on the line. Careers, reputations, legacies. But before the first strike lands, before history is made, one final stare down holds them frozen in time, a moment of eerie calm before the storm crashes down. The moment stretches, heavy with unspoken words, with years of battle scars and countless wars fought in different arenas. Tyson's breathing is measured, but there's an intensity in his posture, a restless energy coiled inside him, ready to explode. His fists twitch at his sides, fingers flexing in anticipation. It's been years since his prime, yet there's something in his eyes, something primal, something that reminds the world why he was once the most feared man in boxing. He doesn't just want to fight, he needs it. The ring has always been his home, the only place where everything made sense. And now, standing in front of him, is an opponent unlike any he's faced before. Dos Anjos watches him carefully, taking in every movement, every subtle shift in Tyson's stance. MMA fighters are trained to read body language, to recognize patterns before they even fully form. But Tyson is a puzzle he hasn't solved yet. He knows the stories, the highlight reels, the countless knockouts that left seasoned fighters crumpled on the canvas, struggling to remember their own names. He studied the footwork, the speed, the head movement that made Tyson a nightmare to deal with. But studying something and standing in front of it are two different things. He can feel it now, the weight of Tyson's presence, the sheer gravity of sharing a ring with a man who has built his legend with his fists. The referee steps between them, issuing final instructions, though neither fighter is really listening. Their minds are locked onto each other, already anticipating the first moves, the first opportunities. The crowd's energy surges again, a living thing that feeds off the tension between these two warriors. People in the front rows lean forward, barely blinking, afraid to miss even a second of what's about to unfold. This isn't just a fight, it's history in the making. Somewhere in the audience, former champions, trainers, and analysts exchange quiet glances. They've seen fights of all kinds, slugfists, tactical masterclasses, brutal wars of attrition, but this is something different. A collision of styles, of generations, of pure, unfiltered combat. Questions swirl in their minds, debates that no one can answer until the first punch is thrown. Can Tyson still move like he used to? Can Dos Anjos handle the raw power that defined Tyson's career? How will the rules play into this fight? It's an uncharted battlefield, one that will demand everything from both men. Back in their corners, their teams give last-minute advice, though it barely registers. Tyson's coach knows better than to tell him. Too much Tyson fights on instinct, on a level of experience that doesn't require over-explaining. He just mutters a few words, enough to keep his fighter locked in. Across the ring, Dos Anjos' corner is more animated, reminding him of angles, of movement, of the openings he'll need to exploit. But deep down, even they know that a fight like this doesn't follow a script. Once that bell rings, it becomes something else entirely. In the crowd, cameras catch glimpses of fight legends, athletes, and celebrities, all drawn to this spectacle. Some lean back in their seats, arms crossed, watching with analytical eyes, while others grip the edge of their chairs, caught up in the sheer madness of the moment. Every major sports network is tuned in, every social media platform flooded with predictions, arguments, and heated debates. This isn't just another fight. It's the kind of event that turns fighters into myths, the kind that leaves an imprint on combat sports forever. And then, with the whole world watching, the referee takes a step back. The bell hasn't rung yet, but the energy in the arena is shifting, tightening. Tyson rolls his shoulders, his muscles rippling under the bright lights. Dos Anjos shakes out his arms, staying loose, knowing that the moment he stiffens up, he's done for. The anticipation is unbearable. Then, with a sharp motion, the referee signals for the bell, and in that instant, everything else fades away. There is no crowd, no flashing cameras, no outside world. Just two fighters, two warriors, standing on the edge of something that can only end in victory or destruction. The bell rings, and in that instant, everything erupts. Tyson surges forward like a predator, closing in on its prey, his footwork sharp, his movements crisp despite the years that have passed. There's no hesitation, no testing the waters, just raw aggression, the kind that made him a legend. His first punch comes in fast, a left hook aimed with the kind of force that has ended fights before they even truly began. But Dos Anjos is no stranger to speed. He pivots, just narrowly avoiding the impact. But even the air that follows the punch feels like a warning, a reminder that any mistake could be the last. Dos Anjos circles out, his stance light constantly shifting. He isn't here to play Tyson's game. He knows better than to trade punches with a man who built his career on delivering some of the most devastating knockouts in history. Instead, he stays mobile, using the rhythm of his MMA background to frustrate Tyson, forcing him to chase. But Tyson doesn't chase. He cuts off angles, stepping in with a jab that snaps Dos Anjos' head back just enough to rattle him. The crowd reacts instantly, a mix of cheers and gasps rippling through the arena. Then something unexpected happens. Tyson feints, drawing Dos Anjos in, and just as the Brazilian commits to a counter, Tyson does the unthinkable. He steps back. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but to those watching closely, it's clear. Tyson is adapting. He isn't just relying on raw power. He's reading Dos Anjos, adjusting in real time, making the fight more than just a test of strength. It's now a battle of minds. And that changes everything. Dos Anjos realizes it too. He expected Tyson to come in reckless, to throw heavy shots without a second thought. But this is different. There's calculation behind every movement, strategy laced into every shift in stance. And that means Dos Anjos has to rethink his approach. He's used to dealing with unpredictability in MMA, where fights can change in an instant, but against a man like Tyson, the margin for error is razor thin. Then, just as Dos Anjos begins adjusting, Tyson strikes again, this time with a right hand that lands flush against the side of Dos Anjos' head. It isn't a clean knockout shot, but the power behind it is enough to shake him. He stumbles, just for a second, but in this world a second is too long. Tyson sees the opening and lunges forward, unleashing a barrage of punches, each one thrown with a level of force that makes the ropes tremble. Dos Anjos, his instincts sharpened by years in the octagon, does something unexpected. He clinches. It's a desperate move, but a smart one, using his MMA experience to tie Tyson up, forcing the referee to intervene. It buys him precious seconds to recover, but the moment he steps back, he knows he can't afford another exchange like that. Tyson, however, smirks a rare expression, almost as if he's enjoying the challenge. The energy in the arena shifts again, but this time, it's different. There's an unspoken realization settling in, an understanding that this fight isn't going to be one-sided. Tyson is as dangerous as ever, but Dos Anjos is proving that he isn't here just to survive. He's here to win. And now, with both fighters adjusting, both pushing past their limits, the question that no one thought they'd have to ask lingers in the air. Who is really in control of this fight? Just as the thought takes hold, the next moment delivers a twist no one saw coming. Tyson, moving in to press the attack, suddenly hesitates not out of fear, but because something is off. Dos Anjos, instead of retreating or countering, stands his ground, an eerie stillness in his posture. Then, in an instant, he launches forward, using an explosive burst of speed that catches even Tyson off guard. He isn't just avoiding Tyson's game anymore, he's challenging it. And just like that, the balance shifts. Tyson reacts on instinct, his body moving before his mind can even process the shift. He raises his gloves, bracing for impact, but Dos Anjos is already inside the pocket, too close for comfort. A sharp right hook crashes into Tyson's ribs, and for the first time in the fight, he takes a step back. The crowd erupts, sensing the momentum shifting in a way no one had anticipated. Tyson has been hit before countless times by some of the most powerful boxers in history, but there's something different about this. Dos Anjos isn't just landing punches, he's forcing Tyson into an unfamiliar rhythm, making him react instead of dictate the fight. Tyson exhales sharply, his mind racing. He's never been the type to panic, but he knows he can't allow this to continue. He resets, planting his feet with the kind of precision that only a lifetime in the ring can create. His next move is sudden, calculated. He explodes forward, feinting a left hook before driving an uppercut straight through the guard of Dos Anjos. The shot lands clean, the kind of punch that has sent men crumbling to the canvas. Dos Anjos stumbles, his vision blurring for just a fraction of a second, but his body refuses to fall. Somehow, he stays on his feet, shaking off the shock as he backs away, arms raised, breathing heavy. The crowd is on the edge of their seats now, voices rising into a deafening roar. Tyson's face remains unreadable, but there's something in his expression, something that flickers just for a moment. It's not frustration, not even anger. It's respect. He knows now that Dos Anjos isn't going to break easily, and that means he has to finish this another way. Dos Anjos wipes sweat from his brow, his mind piecing together a way forward. He's felt Tyson's power, but he's still standing. That has to mean something. He knows his advantage lies in movement, in endurance, in forcing Tyson into deep waters. And so he does something unexpected. He starts to smile. It's small, barely noticeable, but it's enough. Tyson sees it, and for the first time in the fight, he hesitates. Then, out of nowhere, Dos Anjos switches stances. A southpaw now. The shift is subtle but dangerous, forcing Tyson to rethink everything. The next few seconds are a blur of exchanges, Tyson pressing forward, Dos Anjos countering, both men digging deep into reserves of strength neither thought they would need. The world outside the ring ceases to exist. It's just them, trading blows, testing limits, pushing beyond pain. And then it happens. Dos Anjos, seeing the smallest opening, launches a knee straight up the center, a strike straight from his MMA arsenal, a move that would be devastating if this were a different fight. But in this moment, in this ring, it's a mistake. Tyson sees it coming. He sidesteps, his reflexes kicking in at the perfect moment. The knee misses by an inch, and before Dos Anjos can react, Tyson counters with a left hook that lands with terrifying accuracy. The impact echoes through the arena. Dos Anjos' body locks up for a split second before his legs give way beneath him. He crumbles to the canvas, his arms instinctively reaching for the ropes, but there's nothing to hold on to. The referee rushes in, starting the count while the crowd erupts into chaos. Tyson steps back, his chest rising and falling, watching as Dos Anjos struggles to rise. The count reaches 8. Dos Anjos gets to his knees. His vision is spinning, his body refusing to cooperate. He grips the ropes, trying to pull himself up, but the referee reaches 10 before he can fully stand. It's over. The noise in the arena is deafening, but for Tyson, everything feels strangely quiet. He doesn't celebrate, doesn't raise his arms in triumph. Instead, he walks toward Dos Anjos, offering a hand. The Brazilian looks up, eyes still cloudy, and after a moment, he takes it. Tyson helps him to his feet, nodding once before stepping away. There's no need for words. They both know what they just went through. The official decision is announced, Tyson's name ringing out over the speakers. But for those who witnessed this war, both men walk away as legends. Dos Anjos didn't just survive, he pushed Tyson in a way no one expected. And Tyson? He proved that time hadn't taken everything from him. As the cameras flash and the world watches, one thought lingers in the air, a question that no one can quite shake. Was this the last time Mike Tyson would step into the ring? Or was this just the beginning of something even bigger,